The real Roblox Mysteries Iceberg explained. You've seen Roblox iceberg videos before, but this time we're diving into the actual myths, real controversies, and genuine mysteries that have shaped Roblox's history. No made-up stories, no fake creepypastas, just the documented strange occurrences, real players who became legends, and actual games that disturbed an entire generation of players. From account mysteries that sparked platform-wide panic to games that crossed lines and got terminated, this is the real Roblox iceberg. Let's begin our descent. Layer 1. Doe and Jane Doe. Doe and Jane Doe are perhaps the most infamous accounts in Roblox history. These accounts were created by Roblox staff on the very first day of Roblox's public launch. Doe on June 25, 2005, and Jane Doe on the same day. They were test accounts, nothing more. Staff used them to test features and ensure the platform was working correctly before real users joined. But here's where it gets interesting. These accounts had no friends, no games, no activity. They just existed. And in March 2017, a rumor began spreading like wildfire that Doe would hack players' accounts on March 18th. The rumor claimed that if you saw Doe or Jane Doe in a game with you, your account would be hacked and all your items stolen. Some versions of the rumor said Doe would send you a friend request and accepting it would give him access to your account. The panic was real. Thousands of players changed their passwords. Popular YouTubers made videos warning about the supposed March 18th hack. Players were genuinely terrified. Some stopped playing Roblox entirely in the days leading up to March 18th. The fear was so widespread that Roblox had to officially address it. They published a blog post explaining that Doe and Jane Doe were just test accounts, that they posed no threat, and that the hacking rumors were completely false. March 18th came and went with no hacks, but the damage was done. Doe and Jane Doe had become permanent fixtures in Roblox mythology. The accounts themselves were eventually deleted by Roblox to put the rumors to rest, but you can still find their profiles if you know where to look, frozen in time as relics of Roblox's early days. What makes this myth so fascinating is that it reveals how community fear can spiral out of control. Doe was literally just a test account, but the mystery around it, the lack of friends, the ancient join date, the complete inactivity, created the perfect breeding ground for paranoia. Players wanted to believe there was something more, something sinister lurking in Roblox's code. Guess 666. Before Roblox removed guest mode in 2017, players could join games without creating an account. They'd appear with generic guest usernames followed by random numbers. Most guests were harmless, new players testing the platform or people who didn't want to make accounts. But Guest 666 was different. The myth claimed that if you encountered a player named Guest 666 in a game, strange things would happen. Your screen would glitch, items would disappear from your inventory, and the guest would follow you from game to game. Some versions of the myth claimed Guest 666 was a deceased player's account, possessed by their spirit. Others said it was a Roblox moderator who went rogue and now haunted the platform. The truth is more mundane. Guest 666 was just another randomly assigned guest number. The number 666's association with evil made it stand out, so when players occasionally encountered a Guest 666, they'd remember it and share the experience, fueling the myth. Confirmation bias did the rest. Players looking for Guest 666 would eventually find one, reinforcing their belief that something supernatural was happening. What makes Guest 666 significant is how it represents early Roblox culture's fascination with numbers and accounts. Players treated certain account IDs as if they had power, as if the numbers themselves could be cursed or blessed. This numerological superstition was common in early internet gaming communities, and Roblox was no exception. When Roblox removed guest mode entirely in 2017, Guest 666 ceased to exist. But the myth persists, with players creating accounts named Guest 666 or variations to keep the legend alive. These impersonators actually reinforce the myth. Players who encountered these fake Guest 666 accounts would report sightings, not realizing they were seeing role players, not the real Guest 666. The 1x1x1x1 account is one of Roblox's oldest and most persistent myths. According to legend, 1x1x1x1 was a hacker who could ban players, delete games, and crash servers. Some versions claimed he was a former Roblox administrator who went rogue. Others said he was an external hacker who had compromised Roblox's systems. The most dramatic versions claimed 1x1x1x1 was trying to destroy Roblox entirely. The real 1x1x1x1 account exists. It's a test account created by Roblox staff member Shedletsky. The account was used for testing purposes, similar to John Doe, but because it had such an unusual username, just a number 1 repeated, it attracted attention. Players who saw the account in old games or friend lists assumed it must be special or dangerous. The myth exploded in 2012 when various Roblox games were hacked, not by 1x1x1x1, but by actual hackers using exploits. Players needed someone to blame, and 1x1x1x1 became the scapegoat. Every unexplained glitch, every game crash, every account compromise was attributed to this mysterious figure. YouTubers created elaborate videos about encounters with 1x1x1x1, often using editing tricks to make it seem like the account had supernatural powers. Roblox has repeatedly confirmed that 1x1x1x1 is just a test account with no special powers. The account itself has been inactive for years, but like John Doe, the truth doesn't matter. The myth has taken on a life of its own. Players still report sightings of 1x1x1x1, though what they're actually seeing are either impersonators or players with similar looking usernames using special characters. What makes 1x1x1x1 culturally significant is how the myth reflects players' relationship with authority and power. Roblox staff had and have incredible power over the platform. They can ban accounts, delete content, modify games. The idea of that power being misused or stolen is genuinely frightening to players who've invested time and money into their accounts. 1x1x1x1 represents that fear made manifest, a figure who embodies the worst-case scenario of administrative power gone wrong. Cool Kid. Unlike the previous myths, Cool Kid was real. He wasn't a ghost or a possessed account. He was an actual exploiter who caused chaos across Roblox in 2012-2013. Cool Kid used exploits, hacked programs that manipulated Roblox's code to give himself abilities normal players didn't have. He could fly, spawn items, crash servers, and most infamously, he could make himself invincible. What separated Cool Kid from other exploiters was his theatrical approach. He didn't just hack quietly, he made a show of it. He joined popular games and announced his presence, then proceed to demonstrate his powers while other players watched. He'd create chaos, spawn objects, manipulate the environment, and generally make games unplayable. Then he'd leave, moving to another game to repeat the fucked performance. Cool Kid became infamous not just for his hacking ability, but for his persistence. He'd get banned, create a new account, and return within hours. He seemed unstoppable, and for a period in 2012, he was. Players dreaded seeing him join their games because they knew the server was about to become unplayable. Game developers were frustrated because there was nothing they could do. Cool Kid's exploits bypassed normal game security. Eventually, Roblox improved their security systems, making cool kids' specific exploits less effective. The account was permanently banned, along with dozens of alt accounts he'd created. But Cool Kid's legacy lives on. He proved that a single determined exploiter could hold the entire platform hostage, at least temporarily. He became a legend among exploiter communities and a cautionary tale about platform security. What makes Cool Kid significant historically is that he forced Roblox to take security seriously. Before Cool Kid, exploiters were a nuisance. After Cool Kid, they were an existential threat. Roblox invested heavily in anti-cheat systems and exploit detection, directly in response to the chaos Cool Kid created. In a strange way, he made Roblox more secure by exposing its vulnerabilities so dramatically that they couldn't be ignored. The March 18th panic. We've mentioned this in relation to John Doe, but the March 18th, 2017 panic deserves its own entry because of how it revealed Roblox's young user base and their relationship with online rumors. The rumor started small, a few forum posts claiming John Doe would return on March 18th to hack accounts, but it spread exponentially through YouTube videos, Discord servers, and in-game chats. What's fascinating is how the rumor evolved as it spread. Early versions simply claimed John Doe would be active on March 18th. Later versions added details. He'd hack accounts, delete items, ban players, or even delete Roblox entirely. Some versions included elaborate backstories about why John Doe was returning. Revenge against Roblox staff, a glitch in the code, a curse that activated on specific dates. The panic reached such levels that Roblox player counts actually dropped on March 18th. Thousands of players simply didn't log in, afraid of what might happen. Those who did log in often changed their passwords first, removed valuable items from their inventories, or joined private servers to avoid John Doe. Some players live streamed themselves playing Roblox on March 18th, treating it like a survival challenge. The irony is that nothing happened. John Doe didn't return. No accounts were hacked, no items were deleted. March 18th was completely ordinary, just another day on Roblox. But the community's reaction revealed how easily panic could spread, especially among younger players who didn't have the experience to evaluate sources or question dramatic claims. Roblox's official response was measured but firm. They published blog posts and social media statements explaining that John Doe was a test account, that the rumors were false, and that players' accounts were safe. They also used the incident as a teaching moment about internet safety and critical thinking. But the damage to their reputation was real. Parents questioned whether Roblox was safe if rumors could cause such widespread panic. The March 18th panic is significant because it was one of the first times Roblox had to confront the consequences of its young user base being exposed to viral misinformation. It wouldn't be the last. Layer 2. Real Creepy Games. The Rake Classic Edition. The Rake was one of Roblox's earliest successful horror games, created in 2009. Based on the creepypasta creature of the same name, the Rake game placed players in a dark environment, usually a forest or a series of caves, where they had to survive while being hunted by the Rake creature. What made the Rake genuinely scary for its time was its AI behavior. The Rake didn't follow simple pathfinding, it stalked players. It would appear in the distance, watching, then disappear when players looked directly at it. It used sounds to create paranoia. Footsteps, breathing, scratching noises that got louder as it approached. The creature could climb walls and ceilings, meaning nowhere was truly safe. The game's graphics were primitive by modern standards. Simple terrain, basic lighting, a low-poly monster model. But in 2009-2011, this was cutting edge for Roblox horror. The limitations actually enhanced the fear. The low visibility meant you couldn't see the rake clearly, letting your imagination fill in the details. The simple sound design was effective precisely because it was minimalist. A few well-placed audio cues created more tension than constant jump scares. The Rake Classic Edition accumulated millions of visits and spawned countless copies and variations. It established the template that Roblox horror games still follow: dark environment, limited visibility, a monster with distinct audio cues, and gameplay focused on evasion rather than combat. Without the Rake, games like Piggy, Doors, and The Mimic might not exist in their current form. What makes the Rake historically significant is that it proved Roblox could support genuine horror experiences. Before the Rake, Roblox was seen as a platform for simple games and social hangouts. The Rake showed that skilled developers could create atmospheric, frightening experiences within Roblox's limitations. It opened the door for an entire genre. Stop It, Slender! Based on the Slender Man mythos, Stop It, Slender was created in 2012 during the height of Slender Man's internet popularity. The game tasked players with collecting notes scattered around a dark forest while avoiding Slender Man, who would hunt anyone who looked at him too long. The game was brutally difficult. Slender Man could teleport, appearing suddenly in your path or behind you. Looking at him caused screen distortion and an ominous sound, giving him time to get closer. The notes were randomly placed each round, meaning you couldn't memorize locations. Playing alone was terrifying. Playing with others created social dynamics where players would accidentally lead Slender Man to teammates. What distinguished Stop It, Slender from other Slender Man games was its polish. The forest environment was detailed, with varied terrain that could hide notes or conceal Slender Man. The audio design was sophisticated. Distant sounds suggested Slender Man's location, but could be misleading. The game had multiple maps, each with different layouts and hiding spots, keeping the experience fresh across repeated playthroughs. The game also included classes with different abilities. Some players could run faster, others could see further, some had better note detection. This added strategy. Do you pick mobility to escape Slender Man, or detection to find notes faster? Team composition mattered in group runs, creating a cooperative element unusual for horror games. Stop It, Slender was eventually overshadowed by newer horror games with more advanced mechanics, but during 2012 to 2014, it was one of Roblox's most popular experiences. It demonstrated that licensed horror concepts, even informal licenses like creepypastas, could succeed on a platform. It also showed that Roblox horror could have depth, classes, strategy, cooperative play, beyond simple run and hide mechanics. The Stalker Reborn. The Stalker series began in 2010 and went through multiple iterations, with Reborn being the most polished version. The premise was simple. Players spawned in a location, usually a facility or outdoor area, and had to survive while being hunted by the Stalker, an entity that behaved differently from other horror game monsters. The Stalker didn't just chase players, it observed them, it learned their patterns. If you kept hiding in the same location, the Stalker would check there first next time. If you always ran clockwise around the map, the Stalker would start cutting you off. The AI was sophisticated enough that experienced players couldn't rely on memorized routes. They had to adapt to the Stalker's behavior, which was itself adapting to them. What made the Stalker psychologically unsettling was its appearance. The model was a distorted human figure, recognizable enough to trigger uncanny valley responses, but wrong enough to be clearly inhuman. Its movements were jerky and unnatural, sometimes moving smoothly, other times teleporting short distances. Players can never predict how it would move, creating constant uncertainty. The game included a flashlight mechanic, but light was double-edged. Your flashlight let you see, but it also revealed your position to the stalker. Players had to decide when seeing their surroundings was worth the risk of being spotted. This created tense moments where you'd turn off your light when you heard the stalker nearby, standing in darkness hoping it would pass, knowing that if you were wrong about its location, you wouldn't see it coming. The Stalker Reborn never achieved the popularity of the Rake or Stop It Slender, but it was beloved by horror enthusiasts for its AI complexity. It showed that Roblox horror games could include sophisticated enemy behavior, not just simple chase mechanics. The series eventually stopped updating, but its influence persists in modern horror games that feature adaptive AI. Layer 3. Documented controversies. The 2012 April Fool's hack. On April 1st, 2012, Roblox users logged in to find their home pages completely changed. Banners proclaimed strange messages, games had been replaced with unfamiliar titles, and account features were behaving erratically. Many players assumed it was an elaborate April Fool's joke by Roblox staff. It wasn't. Roblox had been hacked. Exploiters had gained access to administrative tools and were using them to modify the website, ban users, and cause general chaos. The hack affected thousands of accounts. For several hours, the platform was essentially under attacker control while Roblox staff scrambled to respond. The hackers didn't just cause random destruction, they left messages. Some were juvenile jokes, others were political statements. Some were simply declarations that they successfully breached Roblox's security. The most famous message claimed that Roblox's security was pathetic and that the hack was meant to teach them a lesson. Roblox eventually regained control and began the recovery process. Accounts that had been compromised were locked and required password resets. Games that had been modified were restored from backups. The hackers' access was revoked. But the damage to Roblox's reputation was significant. If their systems could be compromised so thoroughly, how safe were users' personal information and payment details? Roblox never publicly disclosed exactly how the breach occurred, citing security concerns about revealing vulnerabilities. But staff members later acknowledged that their security systems in 2012 were inadequate for a platform of Roblox's size. The hack forced a complete overhaul of security infrastructure, leading to the more robust systems in place today. The 2012 April Fool's hack is significant because it marked a turning point in Roblox's development. Before the hack, they could operate like a small platform with community-driven moderation and basic security. After the hack, they had to acknowledge they were a major platform that would be targeted by sophisticated attackers. Everything that came after, improved security, professional moderation teams, better encryption, traces back to lessons learned during those chaotic hours on April 1st, 2012. The server raids of 2016-2017. During 2016 and 2017, Roblox experienced organized server raids unlike anything before. Groups of exploiters, coordinated through external Discord servers and forums, would target specific popular games and attack them simultaneously. These weren't individual trolls. These were organized groups with assigned roles, coordinated timing, and specific objectives. The raids typically followed a pattern. Exploiters would join a game en masse, overwhelming the server with their numbers. They'd use exploits to crash the server, manipulate game systems, harass other players, or simply make the game unplayable. Then, they'd move to the next target, repeating the process. Popular games like Jailbreak, Phantom Forces, and Murder Mystery 2 were hit repeatedly. What made these raids particularly damaging was their coordination and persistence. Game developers would implement anti-exploit measures, and the raiding groups would crack them within days. Roblox would ban raider accounts, and they'd create dozens of alt accounts to continue. Some raids lasted for weeks, with certain games being effectively unplayable during peak hours because raiders controlled most servers. The raiding groups developed reputations and rivalries. Some positioned themselves as vigilantes, claiming they were exposing security flaws in popular games. Others were openly malicious, simply enjoying the chaos they created. A few were politically motivated, using raids to protest Roblox's policies or actions by high-profile developers. Roblox's response evolved over time. Initially, they relied on developers to protect their own games, which was ineffective. Individual developers couldn't outpace organized exploit development. Eventually, Roblox implemented platform-level protections, better anti-cheat systems, faster ban mechanisms, and automated detection of raid patterns. They also worked with external platforms like Discord to shut down raid coordination servers. The raids largely ended by late 2017, not because exploiting became impossible, but because Roblox's responses became fast enough that organizing large raids wasn't worth the effort. Individual exploiters still exist, but the era of coordinated 100-person raids on popular games ended. The server raids period is significant because it demonstrated the importance of platform-level security. Developers couldn't protect their games alone. They needed Roblox itself to provide tools and systems to combat organized attacks. The infrastructure built to combat raids continues to protect the platform today, even though most current players don't remember when raids were a constant threat. The content deletion wave of 2018. In mid-2018, Roblox suddenly began mass deleting games that violated content policies. The action itself wasn't unusual. Roblox regularly removed policy-violating content. What made this deletion wave notable was its scale and apparent indiscrimination. Thousands of games were removed within days. Many deletions made sense. Games with copyrighted content from movies, TV shows, or other video games. Games with inappropriate themes or imagery. Games designed to scam players. But many deletions seemed arbitrary. Educational games, historical recreations, and even some games created by Roblox staff members themselves were caught in the purge. The community reaction was intense. Developers who spent years creating content watched their games disappear without explanation. Some games had hundreds of thousands of visits and active player bases, gone overnight. Roblox's initial communication was minimal, leading to conspiracy theories about why certain games were targeted while similar games survived. Eventually, Roblox clarified that the deletion wave was triggered by new COPPA compliance requirements and increased scrutiny from regulatory bodies. They needed to demonstrate proactive content moderation to prove the platform was safe for children. But the moderation was partially automated, and the automation was imperfect. Games were flagged by keyword matching, image recognition, and other automated systems that couldn't understand context. Roblox offered an appeals process, and many games were eventually restored after manual review confirmed they didn't violate policies. But some were never restored, either because they truly did violate policies, or because developers didn't know about the appeals process, or because Roblox had lost the game data in the deletion. The 2018 content deletion wave is significant because it highlighted tensions inherent in user-generated content platforms. Roblox needed to moderate millions of experiences, which required automation. But automation couldn't match human judgment. leading to false positives. Balancing freedom for creators with safety for users remains an ongoing challenge, and the 2018 wave showed how difficult that balance is to achieve. Layer 4. Obscure Game History. Crossroads. Crossroads is one of the oldest continually accessible Roblox levels, created in 2006. It's a simple deathmatch arena, a flat plane with some obstacles, weapons scattered around, and players fighting each other. By modern standards, it's primitive. But Crossroads is historically significant because it represents Roblox's original vision, a platform for user-created, physics-based combat. The map has barely changed since 2006. The terrain is simple blocks. The weapons are basic swords and rocket launchers. The gameplay is straightforward. Respawn, get weapons, fight other players, repeat. There's no progression, no unlocks, no objectives beyond defeating other players. It's pure, distilled early Roblox. What makes Crossroads fascinating is its persistence. While thousands of old games have been deleted or abandoned, Crossroads remains active. New players discover it daily, often surprised by its dated graphics and simple mechanics. Yet it still attracts players, sometimes dozens in a server, who appreciate its simplicity or nostalgia. The Crossroads community has developed its own culture. Veterans treat it as a shrine to old Roblox, a place where you can still experience what the platform was like in 2006. New players see it as a curiosity, a glimpse into Roblox's past. Some players deliberately use old avatar items and communication styles when in Crossroads, role-playing as if it's still 2006. Work at a pizza place. Created by Doe in 2008, Work at a Pizza Place is one of Roblox's oldest games that's still actively played. It's a role-playing game where players run a pizza restaurant, taking on roles like cashier, cook, delivery driver, and manager. What makes Work at a Pizza Place remarkable is its longevity. The game has been updated continuously for over 15 years, evolving from a simple role-play space to a complex simulation with multiple business mechanics, customizable houses, and social features. It's accumulated over 3 billion visits, making it one of the most played games in Roblox history. The game's appeal lies in its low-pressure social atmosphere. Players can work together to run the restaurant, but there's no real failure state. If the restaurant runs inefficiently, nothing bad happens. This makes it accessible and relaxing, a place where players can hang out and chat while performing simple tasks. Work at a Pizza Place has become a cultural touchstone for Roblox players. Almost every longtime player has worked at the pizza place at some point. It's where many players learned about role-playing, cooperation, and Roblox's social aspects. The game's longevity means it's hosted millions of conversations, friendships, and shared experiences. What makes Work at a Pizza Place historically significant is how it demonstrated that simple role-playing games could maintain popularity for years. The game wasn't technically innovative or graphically impressive, but it created a space where players wanted to spend time. That's a lesson many developers have tried to replicate. Technical sophistication matters less than creating engaging social spaces. The Underground Wars. Between 2008 to 2011, a genre of games called Underground Wars was incredibly popular. These were clan warfare games set in underground military bases. 2 or more teams would spawn in bases separated by tunnels and caverns, and they'd fight for control of the map. The games combined combat with base building and resource management. Teams could construct defenses, create spawn points, and control territory. Matches could last hours, with front lines shifting as teams gained and lost ground. The underground setting made combat claustrophobic and intense. You never knew what was love around the next corner. What made underground wars significant was their emphasis on teamwork and tactics. Random players could join, but organized clans dominated. Clans would practice strategies, assign roles, and coordinate attacks. The clan community built around these games was extensive, with dedicated forums, recruitment drives, and inter-clan rivalries. Underground Wars games eventually declined as newer genres emerged, but during their peak, they were among Roblox's most popular experiences. They showed that Roblox could support complex multiplayer games with strategic depth, not just simple minigames and social hangouts. The Underground Wars era is remembered fondly by veterans who participated in clan battles. The games taught players about teamwork, strategy, and online community organization. As Roblox evolved and modernized, some players became nostalgic for older versions. Classic Roblox referred to the platform as it existed around 2008 to 2012, with simpler graphics, different physics, and distinct community culture. Multiple attempts have been made to recreate or preserve classic Roblox. Some projects created separate platforms that emulated old Roblox clients, allowing players to experience the platform as it used to be. These projects operated in legal gray areas. They used Roblox's code and assets without official permission, but argued they were preserving gaming history. Other projects worked within modern Roblox, creating games that replicated classic aesthetics and mechanics. These were legal but limited. They couldn't truly recreate old Roblox since they had to operate within modern systems and rules. The physics were different. The avatars behaved differently, and the community culture had irreversibly changed. Roblox's response to revival projects has been mixed. They've issued cease and desist orders to some external platforms for copyright infringement, but they've also shown appreciation for preservation efforts, occasionally featuring classic-styled games and hosting nostalgia events. They've acknowledged that old Roblox has historical value while maintaining that moving forward is necessary. The most successful revival has been within the community's collective memory. Veterans share stories and screenshots of old Roblox, creating oral history that preserves culture, if not software. Newer players learn about classic Roblox through these stories, developing appreciation for the platform's history, even if they never experienced it directly. Classic Roblox revival attempts are significant because they represent the community's relationship with change. Some players adapted easily to modern Roblox, while others felt alienated by changes to the platform they loved. The revival projects, whether successful or not, showed that Roblox meant enough to people that they'd invest time and effort to preserve what it used to be, even if that meant recreating it from scratch. Conclusion. This iceberg represents only a fraction of Roblox's real history. Every entry here is documented, verifiable, and part of the actual record of what happened on the platform over nearly 2 decades. No made-up stories, no fake creepypastas, just the genuine, strange, scary, and controversial moments that shaped Roblox into what it is today. What makes this real history more compelling than fiction is that these events actually happened. Real players experienced the March 18th panic. Real developers lost games in the 2018 deletion wave. Real exploiters wreaked havoc during the server raids. Real communities formed around games like Work at a Pizza Place and met on Roblox Talk. These aren't stories. They're memories, documented incidents, and pieces of digital culture that thousands of players shared. Roblox's history is messier and more complex than any single narrative can capture. It's a story of innovation and security failures, of community building and toxic behavior, of creativity flourishing within technical limitations, of a platform growing from a small game engine into a massive social phenomenon. Understanding this history helps contextualize current Roblox, why certain systems exist, why policies are what they are, why the community has the culture it does. For newer players, this iceberg offers a window into what Roblox used to be. For veterans, it's a reminder of experiences shared and changes witnessed. For everyone, it's documentation of a unique moment in gaming history, a user-generated content platform that gave millions of people creative tools and let them build whatever they could imagine, with all the brilliance and chaos that entails. The deep cuts and obscure entries in this iceberg won't be found in official Roblox marketing. They're the uncomfortable truths, the embarrassing failures, the controversial moments that platforms prefer to forget. But they're just as much part of Roblox's story as the success stories and heartwarming community moments. You can't understand what Roblox is without understanding what it's been, including the mistakes and weird detours along the way. What real Roblox mysteries have you encountered? What parts of Roblox history do you remember that newer players might not know about? The platform's true story is written by millions of players across 20 years, and every player's experience is a piece of that larger narrative. This iceberg captures some of those pieces, but countless more exist in players' memories, waiting to be documented and shared. The strange, the scary, and the controversial are all part of Roblox's real history. Understanding that history makes the platform more interesting, not less. It shows Roblox as it actually is, a complex, evolving platform shaped by real people making real choices, sometimes brilliant, sometimes disastrous, always human. And that wraps up our journey through the real Roblox Mysteries iceberg. Before you go, I need to mention something important. This is actually my first video back after a long hiatus. I've been away for a while, but I'm finally back and ready to create more content like this. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Roblox's real history, there's a lot more coming. More icebergs, more mysteries, more forgotten Roblox history that deserves to be told. So if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And this is crucial, turn on your notifications. Click that bell icon so you don't miss when I upload. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Now here's what I want from you in the comments. Tell me which mystery from this iceberg shocked you the most. Was it the March 18th panic? The 2012 April Fool's hack? Or maybe you remember some of these events happening in real time? Or, if you're an old Roblox veteran who remembers the classic days, just drop the word crossroads in the comments. Let's see how many of us remember the old platform. And if you have your own Roblox mystery or weird experience that I didn't cover, tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one, and your stories might even make it into a future video. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. This is just the beginning. More weird Roblox content is on the way. I'll see you in the next one.